Alright, hello guys. In this video we're going to be talking about this weekend's winter storm once again, and I have some bad news for those of you who are snow lovers in the Northeast. This snowstorm is looking like more and more of a high elevation snowstorm, and it's trending further west and further west. We're still not going to make a snowfall map in this video because of how inconsistent the models still are with this storm, so this is going to be once again another model guidance update video instead of an actual forecast. So tomorrow is going to be basically our last day to be able to make a forecast, so I will be coming out with one by tomorrow. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends and family if they live in the impacted regions as well. Let's get right into things. So we're going to be talking about, this was yesterday's total snowfall map on the GFS model, and then look at today's. This is 4 model runs difference, or 24 hours difference. This is 6Z on both days. This was 6Z January 22nd it came out, so yesterday morning. Then here's this morning's model update, and this just goes to show how challenging it has been to work with these models. This is kind of going to be a rant video just because of how aggravated I am with the way these models have been performing. I have been making videos for over a year now, and I've been paying attention to the models for about 10 years now, since I was very young. I've always been interested in weather and looked into it, and I've never ever seen models be this consistently bad. It's almost as if there is never an accurate outlook from the models. There still hasn't been one so far this winter, unless it's, within 2 days. But we used to be able to get a pretty good idea, 3, 4, 5 days out, know at least the general trend with the storm, but it's almost up in the air until you're about 2 days out, which is kind of how you would expect weather models to be in the 80s and 90s, not the 2020s. Now, we're about to move on and take a look at the Canadian model and their snowfall forecast, how it's changed from yesterday as well. So we're going to give you an update because you might be thinking maybe it's just the GFS model that had this issue. So we're going to go model by model and take a look at the 24-hour difference here. Now, before I go any further, I must let you guys know that there is actual information that is going to give you more information about what could be upcoming with this storm in this video. You might be thinking to this point that it's just a rant video, but I do have, obviously I'm showing you this morning's snowfall totals, and we're going to go over the simulated radar, but I just wanted to get this part out of the way because I want as many people as possible to see this so they understand what's going on with the weather models right now, because I don't think people quite understand how challenging this has been to work with. Now, so here was yesterday's 0Z model run. The Canadian model only runs twice a day, so this is this is actually going to be 2 runs away. So this was 0Z, not yesterday night, but the night before, and then you can see there's a lot of pinks going on for northern Pennsylvania, a lot of upstate New York, southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, in through central Maine. Let's look at today's 0Z run that came out last night, and you can see the difference is extreme. They do show a lot of snow there for upstate New York, closer to the Great Lakes, and then the very western regions of Pennsylvania, but absolutely just crushing the amount of snow that you're getting there for eastern New York, eastern Pennsylvania, and none for Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, southern New Hampshire, none, southern Maine, in a matter of 2 model runs. That is just unbelievable, and almost like, I can't even put it into words. We've never seen the models be this consistently bad. Ever. I've never seen it. Here's the European model. This was, let me see what run this was. This was 12Z yesterday. And you can see there's purples indicating about 6 to 10 inches of snow, even 10 inches plus, 10 to maybe 15 inches of snow there for central Vermont. We see a lot of snow there for northwestern Pennsylvania, southwestern New York, and then up through northern New York, and then central New Hampshire through central Maine and northern Maine, all getting, a general 6 to 10 and then some 10 to 15 inch amounts in those pink areas. And then let's look at today's 6Z run. So this isn't even 4 runs, this is only 3. This is only 3 runs, and you can see it's dramatically shifted everything to the west. And then Vermont, you're going from seeing 10 to 15 inches of snow on the models in a matter of 3/4 of a day to maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow. And that, to me, is just unbelievably bad and unacceptable, quite frankly. Quite frankly, it is unacceptable. We're going to start talking about that simulated radar now. I know I'm completely ranting in this video, and it's probably aggravating, but somebody has to say it, I feel like. Let me go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and get into that simulated radar here. We're going to start talking about the GFS, and we're going to be comparing it again to the runs 24 hours ago just to see the placement of everything and how much that's changed as well. So I hope this video can be educational and you're able to get information from this. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Obviously, I hope I never have to make a video like this again. And this is kind of just not typically what my video would be like. And I understand that this one's probably not going to get a lot of views just because of the style. But again, I just really wanted to get what I've been thinking off my mind here. So this was our model run this morning and this is going to be for hour 57. So this is going to be valid Saturday morning, January 25th, the beginning of our storm. So take an eye at where the snow is, where the low pressure system is located, and then let's shift to yesterday's run. And you can see it was a lot more snowy there for New York, Pennsylvania. The low pressure system is actually in a similar location. So that kind of raises a lot of questions of what's the actual difference here. It's as we move on to about Saturday afternoon where things start to become a little more apparent. So this was today's run. You can see it's located right there near northern Delaware, southern New Jersey, right next to Philadelphia. That's where the low pressure system is. We do see some mixing going on near the Great Lakes, which is already not a good sign. We have the models calling for a few degrees warmer than what was originally forecasted, and that's literally leading to rain mixing in very, very far north. Now let's move to yesterday's run, and you can see just how dramatically it shifted. We saw our low pressure system located well offshore of New Jersey in snow for a lot of central Pennsylvania, eastern New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont, and then the Great Lakes, obviously not quite as much rain whatsoever for that area. And then let's move on again to today's model, and this is by 8 p.m. on Saturday, I would say. And you can see the low pressure system on today's model is located over the Finger Lakes. So we see rain in all the surrounding regions, and this is just, if you've been keeping up with this series, you know how dramatically different this is. So located near the Finger Lakes, keep a mental memory of that. This is yesterday's run at the same exact hour. That's just unacceptable. Look at where the low pressure system is. It went from, in 24 hours, from being located over Long Island to being located over the Finger Lakes. That is the most dramatic difference in 4 runs that I've probably seen in a very long time. And we've had a lot of bad modeling events so far this year where just the models have not been able to handle storms, but this is probably the worst so far, I would say. And I think at this point we're going to stick with today's model run. Yeah, so here we're about to get in and move on a little bit so we can take a look at that simulated radar moving forward with the storm, because I want to get some information out about what the newest information is on this storm without ranting. So we're about to get into that right now. All right, so this was today's run again. I know it's probably confusing me going back and forth, but you can see by the time we're at about 2 a.m. on Sunday, the low pressure system isn't even in America anymore. It's located over Canada, and it's pretty much to the north of about Watertown in New York, if you're familiar with that area. Pretty well north of the Finger Lakes, obviously. There, we do see some snowfall going on in the White Mountains up through Maine, and that looks to be the bullseye at this point, is in between New Hampshire and Maine in the very northern regions, whereas yesterday we were expecting it to be in southern New Hampshire and southern Maine, because our low pressure system, obviously, by this point was supposed to be well offshore of Cape Cod by this point, but instead it's actually located in Canada now. And then you can see here, this is going to be by Sunday afternoon. We do see some back end snow for New York, and that could lead to actually some accumulation, some pretty good accumulation, and it's going to make up for a lot of the missed snow that we're actually going to see. But we do see some snow move back into central and then very western New York, as well as western Pennsylvania as well. Northern Maine, northern New Hampshire still getting a pretty good storm, and the low pressure system has kind of shifted around, and now it's located over central Maine, still very, very far north of where it was supposed to be. And then you can see it pretty much moves out by this point. We have some snow showers. This is going to be by 2 a.m. on Monday morning, January 27th. Our low pressure system by this point on today's model is located probably, I would say, in Newfoundland by this point. I would say it's located in Newfoundland. And this was yesterday's run where it would be located by this point at 2 a.m. on Monday. And that is, this is probably the most dramatic difference of any of them. So you can see on yesterday's run, it would be located, I would say, maybe 60 miles offshore of Nantucket and Cape Cod there. But instead, on today's run, it's located in over Newfoundland. So that's a very, very dramatic difference there, obviously. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. I apologize for the inaccuracies with the models, even though they're not my models, obviously. But I apologize for just on behalf of the entire weather community of how bad the models have been lately. And we're going to try to get to the bottom of this and try to find a way to make more accurate outlooks and, find out. I think the answer really lies with just knowing what way the models are going to trend. I'm going to start trending by not going with what the models are showing, but knowing that it's probably going to trend west and weaker and warmer. And if I go with that, I think that's going to be the answer for more accurate outlooks. Obviously, I haven't made a snowfall outlook for this storm, thank God, because it would have been way off by time we reached today if I would have made one yesterday. So I'm still going to wait till tomorrow to make one, obviously. Anyway, I'm sorry this is all I have for this video. I know it's been probably pretty boring, but I just had a lot of stuff I wanted to say about how bad the models have been with this storm. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video and staying with me even though I've been ranting this entire time. And I'll see you guys in the next video.